Hi, you guys. This is Tammy Golden. I just wanted to share with you really quick what I mean by finding your rollover volume or carryover volume, because that's how you're going to count your volume to prepare to move rank. It's important that you know this. Because a lot of people have points every week and they never move rank, and if they understood this, it could help them strategize better. So when you log into your back office, you see the overview, you see the commissions. Click commissions. Because a lot of you guys are showing me your current volume, which is this right here. You're showing me this. So this person has 50 on the left and 0 on the right. That's not your carryover volume. Your carryover volume, you'll find it after you click commissions and you go over to carryover volume. Click carryover volume. This will show you what volume is rolling over week to week. So this person is not that active. So let's say, for example, this week they have let's say this we're going to pick this week, November 28th. They have 0 personal volume. They have 0 personal volume. um, 70 on the left, 40 on the right. Their total is 70 um, on the left, 40 on the right. And their carryover is actually 0 because they have no auto ship right here. So you won't get carryover volume if you don't have auto ship. And so this is basically why this person lost their carryover volume that was building and they became inactive. So even though their team was still getting points, these points stopped building. Had they kept their auto ship, the 661 would have went to 70, would have added up and added up, and they could have had looks like they could have had 1,000 on their left. But this is what happens with carryover volume. This is what I want to show you. What happens with carryover volume? Let's say right here, November 7th through the 13th. So they had 0 personal volume. So they probably had already had the auto ship here. 0 personal volume. They had 140 on their left, 40 on their right. So this is their power leg. Their left leg is the carryover leg. The carryover leg is the power leg. You don't have 2 carryover legs. It's either one or the other, and it's the leg that has the most volume every week. So back to November 7th to 13th. 140 with 40, they were bringing over 331 from the week before on carryover. So 331 plus okay, let me just slow this down for you. So you see there's 140 and there's 40. What happens is each week they subtract the lesser leg, the pay leg, from the power leg. So if you see this person had 140 on the left and 40 on the right, so that should be 180. Well, their carryover from the previous week is 331.5. Now if you add 331.5 to 140, you're going to get 470 something. But they subtract the 40, so it's actually just 100. So when you add the 331, you add the 100 because they subtract 40 from the 140. You add the 100, and now they have 431.50. That's how rollover works. So they carry over any rollover volume from the previous week. They subtract your lesser leg from the greater leg, and what's left over, which is the 100, gets added to the 331, which is now 431. And this is kind of how they did it. They carried the 331, added the 140, the 40, which came to 471. Subtract the $40 in volume that was from the left, and now you have the 431. But for me, simply put, I subtract this 40 from the 140 right away. The 100 to the 331 gives you the 431. Now, the next week, they have another 140. They have no volume to the left. No volume to the right to subtract. So the 431 plus the 140 gives them 571 is their rollover volume. Then the following week, they had 90 on the left, no volume on the right. They got 661 total points for their power leg. So your power leg grows every week, but guess what? They had no auto ship. So they became inactive They went from associate back to tour taker. So even though they had 661, now guess what? They lost the carryover right here with no auto ship. So the next week, whatever volume happened on their team, they started over 70 and 40. No auto ship, zero carryover. No auto ship, zero carryover. No auto ship, zero carryover. No auto ship, no auto ship. This person is inactive. Their team is still getting points. So if their team members are active, they will have rollover. But this is what happens when you have no auto ship or you're inactive. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So what I want to really share with you is when you're looking to move rank and I'm asking you for your numbers, you need to know what these, if this is your power leg, if this, you don't have two power legs. Now it can switch if all of a sudden next week this person's right leg did 2,000 points. Now they would subtract the 571 from the 2,000 and they would have 14 something on this side. And if this side stayed the strong leg, then the carryover would carry over here. But for example, this person is their left leg and then they went inactive, no auto ships, and so they're not building their bank. And you're probably saying, well, what do we need the bank for? The power leg is the power leg that automatically qualifies one side. So technically some of you have 1,200 points. You want to be director? You have 1,200 points on your power leg, whether it's your left or your right. You may have 10,000 points on your left or your right, but if you never in that same week, let's say this person right here had 571 right here. If the following week they would have put 500 points here and 1,000 points here, they would have made the director because they already have 571 in the bank. If they already had 1,000 points here and they put, let's say, 30 points here and 1,000 points here, they still make director because the 1,000 was already on the carryover leg. So you don't see it in your current volume, but that's why it's important when I say go look at your carryover volume, that you know what your previous carryover week is. Like I said, some of you have 900 points in the carryover, and next week all you would have to do is have 1,000 on the right and 10 on the left, or if it's vice versa. If it was 570, if you had 900 on the right, then all you got to do is have another 200 on the right and 1,000 on the left, and that's how you make rank. Now, what happens is, if you've listened to the call where I said we're trying to go in the next 2 weeks, we're trying to all go together because this is all volume from the whole leg of a team, not just one person. This is the activity of a team. And so when we put the volume in, let's say for especially those who've decided that's what you want to do, you need to know what your carryover is. It would be your very, very top number up here. If this was 1,200, then you know you're going to focus on carrying that over to the next week. And if you already have, then all you got to do is put, even though it'll look like this person only has 0 here and 0 here, you know on your carryover leg there's already 1,200 points waiting for you. So you put 1,000 in there. Now you have 1,000. You close with 1,000 on this side, 200. Let's say 1,000 on this side, 200 on this side. Well, there's already 200 in the bank. Let's just say there's already 200 in the bank. I'm sorry, 1,000 in the bank. All you got to do is get 1,000 on your right. What happens is the volume will flush the pay leg. So each week, let's say this person has 120 here. This is their power leg. 92 is their pay leg. So they subtract 92 from 120. So what goes to the rollover volume? You see they went from 329 to 331. That's the difference of the 120 and the 92.5, which is only about a few points. Okay? And they subtract this 25. So this is what, 125, 120, and this 25 will go in the pay leg. So they subtract, that's why it's only 3 points here. So once they subtract, you add the 25 to the 92, subtract it from the 120, that was about $3-4 left, and that's how the pay leg grew by $3 or $4. Next week it grew by 100 because they had 140 and 40. Subtract the pay leg from the power leg, they had 100 left, it grew by 100. The following week it grew by the whole 140 because they had nothing on the power leg. This is why I'm saying if we skip that 1 week, what happens is if you have 1,200 points here in your carryover and you go and only put in 400 points, it's going to subtract the 400 points. Um, let's say if you have, um, I'm sorry, let's say if you have 200 points here and you get 100 points on your left, it's going to subtract the 100 point from the 200, and your leg is only going to grow by 100. If you start getting, let's say 500 over here and only 100 here, it's going to start subtracting the 500, because now that's the greater leg from here, so you'll end up with 71. So if you never quite make rank, it'll just, if you look at your carryover leg and see how the numbers are moving, it'll just eat away from your power leg. That's why I'm encouraging you guys to stack up some orders and stack up some volume. Just take as many orders. Say, hey, I'm placing a big order in 2 weeks. They don't have to know what you're doing. I'm placing a big order in 2 weeks. Or if you want them to join the team, here, I'm in a contest. I need to recruit 20 new people. Can you help me? Whatever you want to do to get your volume, and start putting it in on what is this, March 13th. So that week of March 13th, March 19th, if you have 1,000 in your carryover already and you collect $1,000 in order, all you got to do is drop that in strategically, as well as bringing new people in and helping those on your team that want to move rank or at least get binary qualified. That's what happens. You can strategically put that in and make rank. And one more other thing, if you are not binary qualified, remember you still get retail pay. But if you are not binary qualified, that 25% from retail pay, let's say for instance, it goes in this leg that says PV. So if you are not binary qualified, let's say this person placed a $100 order, and 25% of that, so they earn 50%, but in the comp plan, 25% of the binary pay goes back into the pay leg. So it shows up here in your personal volume, and it gets added to your pay leg, which if this person has 92.5, so they'll add the 25 to the 92.5, which is what, 112, 115, something like that, 117, 117.5. This person will earn 10% on 117.5. If you are not binary qualified and you're shopping and you're taking orders, doing retail of 1,000 a week, 500. If you did 1,000 a week in retail, you would have 250 right here where it says customer volume, and that 250 would get added to the 92.5, and you would earn a whole lot more money. So if you're not binary qualified, you're missing out on the second way we get paid on retail, because you have nowhere for the volume to go. And even if it goes there, you're not binary qualified, you don't have the 2 people with the $40 auto ship, so you can't even get paid on it. So that's another reason why you want to get binary qualified, so you can at least maximize on your retail pay while you're building your team. Okay, so I hope that doesn't confuse you guys. Watch the video again. But when I ask you for your numbers, I'm asking you to get your rollover volume, not your current volume, your carryover volume. This is what determines your current numbers. This is what's going to take you to the next week. So, for instance, this person, let's say this is their first week. They have 185 on their left, 0 on their right. They have no carryover because they don't have a pay leg yet. No volume was earned over here. But if you already know that, looking at your volume the previous week, you may place an order over here, or get a rep on this side so that you can start maximizing on the pay. So this person, like I said, they lost their volume here when they went they went inactive. That's why I dropped from associate to a tour taker, and they lost their rollover volume. So that's why you keep your auto ship. All right. If you have any questions, give me a call. But I just wanted to share this with you guys really quick. Okay, bye.